Most of your washing machines have a back cover. One happens to have 2 screws that hold these clips in place that hold the top on. It's to study it over and see how they put it together. I believe this top slides this way. And it comes off just like that. So now I've got to pull the back off here and get the wire harness loose. And there's usually some screws, one right down in this hole here. If you need to access the timer, this is the way to do it. One here. A lot of plastic. And that's it. I'm using number 2 Phillips. Okay, so we've got access now. If you have to replace the controllers, that's how you get to it. So what I'm going to do is pull the wire harness out of these 2 plugs. And usually there's a little snap here. This little flap pulls up. They usually have them color-coded so you can't mix them up. This little flap right here. If your fingernails aren't strong enough, use a little flat blade screwdriver. And there's the control panel. I'm going to pull these screws right here. And these happen to be, you can use either a socket or a Phillips. I prefer the Phillips because it's more universal. And see where the rest of them are. Okay, it's loose. We've got a wire harness we have to pull. Let me see where it's located here. It comes right through here. So we're going to have to pull all these connectors. And they're color-coded if you happen to take it apart. One here with a little flap. These just twist out. Another one here. I'll get a little screwdriver. We're down to these parts right over here. And they've used a twist tie on this instead of a tie strap. And we'll pull the ground wire. They always have ground wires. They like to ground things. Pull all these screws out, hold it together. Okay. These are the shut-off valves. I'm just going to go ahead and pull the screws out of them, get them out of the way. Okay, one more right down in there. It's a hard one to reach. Separated here. There we go. And that guy. And what do we got here? We got this whole control panel we're going to have to pull. Get it out of the way. There it is. Capacitor. It's for the motor. Every motor that on a washing machine has some sort of a capacitor for starting it. Another one. There's another one. Okay, I have to snip these off to get them out or cut them. Side cutters. Squeeze them to the side and push. Sometimes they're hard to do. So I snip them off because I'm recycling. And we got a wire harness right here. And I'm going to have to tip it up on its face. And then we can pull all this out. And here's one of the other ground wires. In this case, I can cut it right here. But if you were replacing the harness, you would take the screw out. What's this? That's another ground wire. Goes out. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see what happens if we can tip it over on its side or its front. Okay, they have these little twist locks here. You pull those out, and then they got the harness right here. Let me see what we got here. Another little clip. There we are. And that one. Look at how they twisted this all together. Pull that wire, that little wire out of there. There's another one right here. In this case, I'm just going to snip it because you know how the other ones worked. There we are. Now we got one more wire harness going right up here. And if you're going to service this, you'd be real careful not to break these plugs. But in this case, I'm going to just snip them to get this harness. And we got one more ground wire there. Lots of ground wires. Okay, that little plastic part there comes undone. Oh, there's a screw right there. There we go. Another ground up here. This is 2 wires, so this is something else. So I'm just going to cut that wire. And this is a rubber hose, so it's just taped on. Okay. And this is a drain right here to let the water out if you get too much water in the system. So I didn't know that. That's kind of interesting. So if it plugs up, it might cause problems. Okay. We'll pull the harness out. I can pull it out. There. I actually didn't have to. All right. Now we're going to pull this panel off here and pull the harness out. And this is a tube for the level of the water level that monitors it. And this should come right out. Now this whole harness I can recycle. when I take the rest of that apart. And it's a pretty hefty harness. Let me see how they're connected. Now this motor is a unique motor. Let me see if I can pull it. Fancy screws. Now let's see what we got here. That metal bracket holds that in. It may slide out. No, this bolt right here is to come off. Then this cover will come off. I think what we're going to do is go ahead and pull this whole unit. And it's got a clamp on it. Let's see what kind of clamp it is. It's one of those. Where'd it go? I was going to show you the clamp. But it has two little ears on it you squeeze to take this hose off. Now we're going to look at the motor. And this is a special motor. This is what they use in a lot of new wash machines. Instead of a motor with a belt, this is direct drive. And we've got an impact driver here. A washer. And this should slide off. Pry bar. We'll see if this works, Clark. I think it moved. And there it is. There's a row of magnets around here. These magnets oppose these electric magnets and causes it to spin. I've saved some of these magnets right here.